Welcome to the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm Tami Stackelhouse, fibromyalgia coach, author, and founder of the International Fibromyalgia Coaching Institute. The goal of this podcast is to empower you with access to the dream team of experts and coaches I've discovered are key to living the fibro life you love. From the comfort of your own home, and maybe even your pajamas, I'll help you take back control of your life and health. To help out with fibro fog, I always include full show notes and additional resources at fibromyalgiapodcast.com. Welcome to the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm your coach, Tami Stackelhouse, and this is episode 115. Today, I'm sharing more graduate interviews from our July 2023 Fibromyalgia Stories of Hope and Healing event. The two interviews I'm sharing today are with graduates of our Certified Fibromyalgia Coach training program. After going through both our advisor program and our coach program and working on their fibromyalgia for the last 2 years, Anne and Penny are now nearly symptom-free. And they'll be sharing with you how they did that. They will also share what it's like working as a coach with their own clients and their experience in the training program. If you've been looking for fibro-friendly work that allows you to take advantage of your skills and expertise and to make a difference in the world around you, consider becoming a certified fibromyalgia coach. Our next class begins in just a few weeks. I also suggest downloading a free copy of my book, The Fibromyalgia Coach. In this book, I provide 8 key questions to help you evaluate any career choice and show you how working as a fibromyalgia coach fits in with those questions. After hearing the interviews with Penny and Anne, if you're interested in working with one of them, keep listening after the interviews or go to today's show notes page. I'll have some additional information for you at the end if you're interested, or at fibromyalgiapodcast.com/115. Now, just a quick reminder, the information you hear today is not meant to be medical advice. It is meant to be educational only. We really hope that you'll take whatever you hear today to your doctor and talk with them about what might be right for you to try. I also want to remind you that these graduates are sharing their personal stories and their own personal results. How specific they get will depend on how comfortable they are with sharing their personal medical information publicly. The results you get working with a certified fibromyalgia coach or taking one of our classes may not be the same or similar depending on your own medical history and level of symptoms. Now, I have always said that our stories have power. They have the power to encourage, to give others hope, and to show what's possible. If you'd like to hear more stories of hope, go to today's show notes page at fibromyalgiapodcast.com/115 for links to other episodes. Enjoy my interviews with Anne and Penny. All right, now let's go on to Penny. Penny, when we met, you were in North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Okay.
North Carolina.
And now you're in Oregon. Penny moved to Portland, which has actually been super fun for me because I got to give you all the names of all my good people to go see, which has been awesome.
Yes. A huge advantage for me.
Yeah. So
Huge advantage.
I always say Portland is the best place to be if you have fibromyalgia. That's where Dr. Ginevra is. A bunch of other people are there that have been super, super helpful for me. So, Penny, you started your advisor class at 59 for your score. You ended the coach class. You are graduating here today. And granted, that's been about 2 years because we had COVID in the middle and moving and a bunch of stuff. But you ended at a 5, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Yes.
92% improvement, basically symptom-free. Let's talk about that.
Pretty close to symptom-free. I would say that not every day am I symptom-free.
For sure.
But for the majority of the time, especially in comparison to where I was 2.5 years ago, like this is a walk in the park, literally, or a hike up a mountain, a bicycle ride, which is all the exciting things that I'm back to doing now that I couldn't do for so long.
That's amazing. So what do you think has been the most helpful for you? What are some of the things that you've done to get to that 92%? What haven't you done?
Yeah, there's a really, really long list of things that I have tried. And it's funny listening to everyone else. I'm like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. I'm like, getting to my diagnosis was a long time period. I'm totally gluten intolerant. That removed some of my pain. That was all before the advisor course. And then the advisor course, I improved greatly to the point where I did a sprint triathlon. It was fabulous. And then
I don't think I knew you did that.
I did. Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So May 2019, I did a sprint triathlon and I graduated from the advisor course in July. Yeah.
That's
so,
amazing.
And then I tanked.
And during that was the move and a bunch of other stuff
And
too,
then I
right?
tanked. Yeah. Yeah. I had a fairly stressful job. HR is not necessarily the easiest job to be in, although I think a kindergarten teacher probably would be worse to me than my HR job was. Just saying. So my job was pretty stressful. We moved, we had deaths in the family. There were lots of things going on. So it was a lot. So once we moved to Portland, I, of course, jumped right on the Tami Stacklehouse train of who are your doctors and who do you see? And I was like, oh, I'm going to see Dr. Ginevra. And at that point in time, that's when she had closed down her clinic. And I was like, now what do I do? So for anyone who listens to Tami's podcast, you hear her talk about Dr. B, and we call her Dr. B because her last name is a little bit challenging. So she's just Dr. B, but it's Bourgeois, I think.
Yep. Dr.
I think I'm
Bourgeois.
close. Kaylee Bourgeois. And she and I have just been on a fact-finding mission for me since I got here. So it's just about 12 months since I started seeing her. And we have discovered all sorts of things about me. One of which is my hormone levels were very off or very low. I have gone through menopause, which for a person my age is not shocking. However, I'm very open about this, so this will be out there for the world. At the age of 36, I had a hysterectomy. At the age of 36, no one had a conversation with me about any type of hormone replacement. There is no cancer history in my family. There is no reason why there would not be any conversation about that. There just wasn't. About 2019 is probably when I went through menopause. And the biggest determining factor to me for that is I have curly hair. Never in my life have I ever had curly hair. It's always been straight, perfectly straight, to the point where my family members are like, where did this come from? Like,
did you get a perm?
Yeah, like it's just really strange. And I'm like, so she and I walked backwards. So one of the things is that I have started hormone replacement therapy, which I think much of the pain that I was still having was not truly fibro related. Like, I think that I really did have my under control and that the pain that I was suffering from was other extenuating circumstances, things like adrenal fatigue and
if your thyroid's off, that'll cause
and my thyroid was off.
Yeah, all of those things. Yeah.
And she and I have tested it 3 times in 12 months because the first time it seemed okay. And the second time it was a little off. And the third time it seemed okay, actually 4 times. And the fourth time it was like, oh no, it really is not right. So we've gone back and forth with the thyroid. We added the hormone replacement. I tried something called orthopedic massage. I had been doing myofascial release, which helped some, but it was just not getting to the root of my issues. I'm back to acupuncture once a week, now kind of going to every other week. So all of the things. So my health has been a full-time job for a little while, but I'm finally to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, last weekend took a 5-mile bicycle ride with grandkids and, went to British Columbia with my husband on vacation and hiked for 6.5 or 7 miles in a day. So it's just all very exciting to know that you can get to that point. And that is what I coach my clients through is like, how you feel right now doesn't mean it has to be your forever. Like, coming to acceptance of the fact that you have fibromyalgia is not easy, but it doesn't mean that you have to accept that you are going to be in the stage that you are at right now. You can make improvements. Your health can get better. You can feel better. It takes work and it takes time. It's not an overnight experience.
And it takes trying a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Right? To find the thing that is your perfect right recipe.
Yes. And my recipe, and everyone you've talked to already, it's like one person's recipe was not the next person's recipe, which was, each person's recipe is unique, which is part of what the challenge is with fibromyalgia and why doctors struggle to help us.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I teach so many different kinds of things in the class too, because you'll pull out the things that work for you from the class, but then you go on to help somebody else and they need a different answer.
Yes, because I would not say that hormone replacement therapy is going to be for everyone, because some people that might be a problem for. We talk about adrenal fatigue and using hydrocortisone as a possible treatment. I'm allergic to it. So then what are you going to do? You have to come up with something else. The normal approaches that, I shouldn't say normal, there is no normal approach in fibromyalgia, but medications and how they are typically used for me are not always a great success. I tend to have, my body overreacts to whatever the medication may be.
If there's a possible side effect.
I have it. If there's a 0.01% chance that there will have a side effect, I am probably that person that will have it. It's not to say that I have like I can never remember the name of that.
Mast cell activation syndrome.
It's not necessarily that.
It's not right for you.
It's just not right for me. So yeah. But the coaching class, I'm not saying that everyone that takes the advisor course or needs to become a coach, but the coaching class has been extremely rewarding in the process of going through it. So I really, really enjoyed it, and getting to know my clients and being able to see the progress that they make. Most of the people I have worked with are the overachievers. People tend to gravitate towards people that are similar to themselves. Yep. And I was that person who, when my kids were younger, my kids are all adulting now. So, yay, they all adult successfully. And, but when they were younger, like when they were in high school, I was the mom who was the lacrosse coach, the lacrosse mom, the team mom, I was still working. I was doing, PTA. I was doing this. I was doing that, like all of the things all at one time. Those are the kind of people who tend to gravitate towards me as a coach. I have the people who are working and raising kids and trying to do a bunch of other extracurricular activities, or grad students who are writing books who blow my mind, and like just all the things that people do. It's just amazing to me. So I get a lot from the clients that I coach. Probably, I would say to me, it's more rewarding. I'm hopeful that I'm extremely helpful to them. But for me, it's very rewarding to be there with them, to walk through their lives with them.
And that is a good point for me to read a comment that came in our Q&A. I didn't know we were going to get this, but I want to read it. And I really hope it's okay to the person who posted this, but it reads like she intended for us to share it. So you'll know who this is as I read it. She says, if it weren't for Penny, I wouldn't even be able to sit at my desk for more than 10 minutes, let alone attend an online event after midnight, which is where she is. She says, unfortunately, fibro is not considered an actual illness in Germany. I've been bouncing from one doctor to another, resulting in more frustration. Working with Penny is a milestone in my journey. Not only have my symptoms improved immensely, but I have also learned how to advocate for myself. As a high achiever and perfectionist, for the first time in my life, I'm happy to get a lower score on something. And then she says, my fibromyalgia impact questionnaire clearly shows how far I've come since I started working with Penny. So I just have to share that.
Thank you. And I do know who that is. I do know who that is. She sent me a lovely email just yesterday. encouraging me because she knows this is not my comfort zone. I am more naturally an introvert. So being public is not necessarily my thing. Yeah, she's made huge progress, and still has a little way to go. And yeah, medical systems in other countries, and like you have coaches that are also in other countries, but medical systems, it's not just the US that is a challenge.
It's
other countries, yes, other countries can be very, very challenging. And some countries you wait months and months just to get, I shouldn't say months, years to get an appointment with someone that you need an appointment with. So yeah, it makes it very difficult to move forward in your progress if you don't have that medical support.
And especially if you are in another country in that kind of a situation, working with a coach can be really helpful because instead of waiting a couple of years or months or whatever to get some answers, you can get some information and some answers now.
Yes. And that particular client happens to be the one who went to her physiotherapist, who then was so excited to help someone else who she, just by working with that person, really believed another person had fibro and was like, oh, I can approach their physical therapy in a different way than what I have been doing, because clearly what I'm doing is not helping them. Yeah,
that's amazing. Being able to down the chain help people that you and I may never meet.
Right. Yes. That's the exciting part of the coaching to me, is that the ripples that we make in the pond is the biggest part for me, that's the most rewarding.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations again, Penny, for all the things, for graduating as a coach, for your improvement, for, finding your missing pieces and your answers.
Yeah. I'm very thankful for the team that I'm slowly but surely putting together here in the West Coast that I thought I had on the East Coast, but I've made huge leaps and bounds since finding the right pieces and parts to put together for a medical team for myself.
That's awesome. Congratulations again, Penny.
Thank you.
All right. Now let's go to Anne. Anne is our last graduate. First off, I want to say we had Connie in North Dakota. You're in South Dakota.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. So, Anne, where do we even start with you?
Right?
So when Anne and I met, pretty much almost everything in your life has changed since then, right? Divorce, moved 3 times, COVID, knee surgery, taking care of your mom, taking care of your kiddo who also has fibromyalgia and other stuff. Like, we could go on and on.
Yeah. She's got a lot of stuff for her age, definitely.
Yeah. And so do you.
Well, yeah. 23 years and I've finally come full circle is what I feel like. So
that's amazing. So you started your advisor class with a fibromyalgia impact questionnaire score of 61, and you are graduating today with a score of 16, sweet 16, which is a 73% improvement. Wow.
Right.
In spite of all of the moving and the divorce and the COVID and the knee surgery and like all the things.
Everything on and on. Yeah. You saw me at the worst time in my life ever. You've seen me go through some of the worst things I've ever been through, and I still maintained. I still improved. So, and a lot of that is, it's my whole journey it's been a blessing, because like I said, it's like my life fell apart, but yet I feel like I have come full circle. I know my faith is a big piece of that. So,
But let's be honest, faith is good. It helps, but there's also things that are really going wrong in your body that have to be fixed, right?
It's been a long, hard journey. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, but I have a new family support group of my fibro family. So,
yeah. So what are some of the things that you've done over the last few years to improve your fibromyalgia, even with all the other stuff going on?
I think improving my thyroid, sleep, reducing inflammation with the low dose naltrexone is huge. And I think even, learning I have ADHD. The other thing is helping other people is a huge thing. when you're able to make a difference in someone else's life and they're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing to watch them go through that. And I'm thinking about what you've been doing all these years. It must be the same for you, where you're just like, oh my gosh, like Penny had said before, it's like we change, we help one person, they help someone else. It just keeps going on. And this is growing, and it's amazing. It's very amazing, inspirational,
And it sounds kind of funny to say, helping other people helped my fibromyalgia be better, but it's true.
Yeah, it's when I did my podcast with you in December, things have even changed since then. It's more like when I'm helping other people, and it reminds me to, do a check on myself. Or I've had, a couple of the other coaches say this or that. And, it's like, what are you doing to take care of yourself? And what are you doing for yourself? And, so it kind of helps remind you, like when you're helping other people going through things, it just feels like all these things keep putting in my path. And the people that I've been working with so far, I'm so proud of them, because they're hard work as well. And that's the thing. I'm just so excited to be able to help other people on this journey. So
exactly. It's the best part for me too. But one thing you said that I just want to touch back on, as we're coaching our clients and as we're, talking to them about making sure that they don't overdo, and as we're asking them, okay, now how are you going to build in some rest time, or asking them, how are you doing on those PT exercises, you were given. At the same time, we're hearing it ourselves, right? And so I find often that I'm coaching myself, even though I'm coaching somebody else.
Yeah. Yep. They help kind of remind you, because you go back through different things, and everybody does need something different. And we're all on a different journey. It's like fibromyalgia is a part of my life. It's not taking over my life anymore. It's just part of my life, and you can live with fibromyalgia and turn things around. It's possible. Like I said, it's some hard work, but if you're willing to put in the time, it's totally possible. I can't believe that I've improved 73%. That's wow. In 2 years, really, with all the things, all the challenges I had in front of me, it's just like,
yes. But at the same time, some of the things that happened actually, there's concrete reasons why they would help if we actually stop and look at it. So for instance, thinking about having knee surgery, if you've got a source of pain like that and you can fix it, it might make things worse for a while, but then you're better because of it, right? Because you've removed that pain trigger, or, maybe it's an emotional pain trigger and that's why you got a divorce, which we won't necessarily need to talk a lot about, but let's just put it at that.
Yeah. Well, even healing past traumas gets, rid of things. And the one thing that I love doing the most right now is I love being in the water. So when I do water therapy, strengthening my core, it's making a huge difference. I have more energy than I've had. I feel better. I'm happier,
What are some of your favorite things that you share with your clients as far as things to try, whether that's treatments, supplements, medication, whatever?
Well, I think one thing that I really like to find out is what do they enjoy to do and what do they want to do again? And one of my clients, she didn't think she'd ever be able to do any more knitting. And now she's able to do some knitting, and she's able to do some yoga, and she's doing some other things for herself. And one of my other gals, it's finding the joy. And, because one of my other gals, she's such a talented artist with card making and scrapbooking, and it's bringing the joy back into their life is a huge thing, because there's been so much, their life has been just taken over by fibromyalgia, but now they're kind of getting it in check. So you're able to do more things that you enjoy, and that makes your life better.
And also thinking about that thing that you enjoy, are there modifications that can be made? How can you add it in a way that's still fibro friendly?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's some of it is getting their pain under control is a huge, huge thing. That's probably the pain and fatigue are the biggest usually.
Awesome.
And once you start getting that figured out, then you can figure out how to bring some more, joy back into your life.
And that's what it's all about, people.
That's it, baby. That's it. That's it.
We're here for more than just waking up, hurting, laying on the couch and then going back to bed at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly.
So, Anne, is there anything that you want to share with the people who are listening, who are maybe still struggling and looking for some answers?
Well, I guess one thing, it was just so amazing having Dr. Ginevra, speaking, because her book has been phenomenal as far as a resource from a doctor. And I go back on that book a lot, and that helps me, find different things out to help other people, along with the fibromyalgia podcast is one of my other favorite things that I kind of tell people about or whatever, and to get things out of. I think I've learned the most out of everything from my daughter, because now, she's a teenager, and learning different things with her, helping her adjust her life so she can have some kind of a life again. It's been very difficult because there's been nobody to help. And that's, I guess, one thing that there's any other teens out there, whatever, I know that there's a lot of things we can do to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I know your daughter has actually brought you a lot of good information as well, right? It's not just
She's
one
my
way.
little researcher. I only thought I was, but yeah, she's very, very insightful on things and learning. And yeah, she's been dealing with her illnesses for 5 years. And the other difficulty is when you have all these other comorbidities, it just, and fibromyalgia is your amplifier. So that's going to jack everything up. But little by little, you can start making little fixes here and there, and makes everything better.
It adds up, doesn't it? And that wraps up my interviews with Anne and Penny. As certified fibromyalgia coaches, they are both available to help you one-on-one with your own fibromyalgia. And they're both taking new clients. Just go to today's show notes page for a link to schedule a consultation. You can go to fibromyalgiapodcast.com/115. During Penny's interview, you heard me read a comment we received during the event from one of Penny's clients. These types of results are not uncommon. To be clear, a certified fibromyalgia coach is not a doctor. As coaches, we can't prescribe, we can't diagnose, but we can help fill the gap in fibro knowledge for you and your doctors. Students who graduate from IFCI have received hundreds of hours of fibromyalgia-specific training and fibromyalgia coaching-specific training. Now, as coaches, we are educators. We teach you and your providers more about fibromyalgia. We can also teach you how to better advocate for yourself with your providers, which helps you get better results. As coaches, we also can act as an accountability partner, holding you accountable for the things you know you need to do to feel your best, but just have trouble doing. Things like implementing the dietary changes your doctor has recommended, or doing those dang physical therapy exercises I always seem to forget. This can be a huge help for what we call compliance. This is something Dr. Ginevra talked about in her commencement speech during graduation, which you will find at episode 113. As people living with fibromyalgia, we can also teach you the tips and tricks that we have learned along the way, and we can give you those shortcuts to better managing your symptoms. Most importantly, working with a certified fibromyalgia coach means working with someone who knows. We live with fibro every day, and we know what that means. When you're talking to one of us, you're talking, maybe for the first time ever, to somebody who gets you. When you schedule a consultation with a coach, there is no obligation beyond showing up for that first call. During your consultation, your coach is going to ask you a lot of questions. We want to make sure that we understand exactly what your needs and goals are. And then, if we feel like we can help, we'll explain how we can do that for you. Each coach has their own independent business. So everyone has different programs, different rates, different personalities, different styles of coaching, but all of them have been trained by me to really understand fibromyalgia and how to help you feel your best. When you go through our scheduling page, you'll see we've got different kinds of coaches. We've got one-on-one VIP coaching with me, occasionally is also available. There is the option of working with a certified fibromyalgia coach who has graduated like Anne and Penny have, or working with a student coach, someone who is still doing their training. Choose whatever option feels best for you. Of course, you're also welcome to join any of our training programs. Our Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor is kind of the best of both worlds, and it includes both one-on-one sessions with the Certified Fibromyalgia Coach and group classes with me. We also have our Certified Fibromyalgia Coach program, which includes all of that, plus an additional year learning how to coach fibromyalgia patients with me as your mentor. You'll find all the information to schedule a consultation or enroll in our training programs on today's show notes page. Just go to fibromyalgiapodcast.com/115. See you back here next time. And that wraps up another episode of the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm your coach, Tami Stacklehouse. For daily doses of hope, inspiration, and practical advice, come hang out with me on Facebook. Visit facebook.com/fibrocoach to find my personal coaching page and connect with me directly. To find the show notes, additional resources, or to schedule a consultation with me or one of my coaches, visit fibromyalgiapodcast.com.